The headline was everywhere, on every news site, every social media feed, and every conversation in academic circles. Oxford stunned in global debate showdown. The words echoed across continents, capturing the attention of students, educators, and debate enthusiasts worldwide. In a grand historic hall, the prestigious Oxford Union team faced off against the University of the Philippines, a matchup few had predicted would become so legendary. Oxford, with their crisp, perfect English and polished demeanor, exuded an air of unshakable confidence, as if victory was already theirs. The Filipino team, their English marked by a melodic accent and a quiet determination, stood ready, eyes focused and spirits high. The unspoken assumption in the room was clear. The team with the better accent, the more refined delivery, would surely win. What followed, however, shattered that bias and left the audience in disbelief. The Filipino team didn't just compete, they dominated. With passion, clarity, and razor-sharp logic, they dismantled Oxford's arguments point by point, backing every claim with solid evidence. The audience, initially charmed by Oxford's eloquent delivery, soon found themselves leaning in, captivated by the Filipinos' compelling reasoning and undeniable substance. Judges scribbled furiously, struggling to keep up with the rapid exchange of ideas and the unexpected turn of events. Oxford looked stunned, their composure slipping as the realization set in that they were being out-argued on the world stage. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement, a powerful reminder that intellect and skill are not defined by accent or background. The debate exposed the deep-seated prejudice that so often links accent to intelligence, challenging everyone to rethink their assumptions. The Filipino team proved beyond any doubt that substance trumps style and that true brilliance shines through, no matter the voice. News of the upset spread rapidly, sparking global conversations about bias, privilege, and the real markers of excellence. Intellectual brilliance, the world was reminded, has no accent. And greatness can come from anywhere, spoken in any voice. Meet the teams. In a world where words are weapons and ideas are currency, two teams from opposite sides of the globe prepare to face off in a battle of intellect and wit. Oxford's James, Chloe, and Thomas debate royalty, confident and polished. They carried themselves with the poise of champions, their every gesture exuding self-assurance. Their English was flawless, their reputation intimidating. Years of training and countless victories had made them almost legendary in the debate circuit. They saw the Filipino team as underdogs, their accented English mistaken for weakness. To them, the outcome seemed almost predetermined. Oxford lounged, sharing jokes, certain of victory. Their laughter echoed through the halls, a testament to their confidence and camaraderie. The Filipino team, Isabel, Marco, and Lena, were quiet, focused, and scholarly. They sat together, heads bent over notes, their determination almost palpable. Their English was precise, shaped by their culture and their relentless pursuit of excellence. Every word was chosen with care, every argument crafted with intention. They didn't seek the spotlight, they sought truth. For them, debate was not just a competition, but a chance to share ideas that mattered. While Oxford relied on charm, the Filipinos relied on research. Their strength lay in the depth of their knowledge and the clarity of their reasoning. They huddled, revising notes, aware of the bias they faced. They knew the odds were stacked against them, but that only fueled their resolve. They knew their arguments were strong. Each member believed in their message and in each other. They weren't intimidated by Oxford's reputation. Instead, they saw an opportunity to challenge expectations and prove themselves on a global stage. They were determined to prove that what you say matters more than how you say it. Substance, not just style, would be their weapon. The stage was set for a clash of style versus substance. The air was thick with anticipation as both teams took their places, ready to make history. The underdogs were ready to redefine what it meant to be world-class debaters. In this arena, passion, preparation, and purpose would decide the victor. Oxford's confidence bordered on complacency. The team carried themselves with an air of effortless superiority, as if victory was already assured before the debate even began. Their preparation was superficial, relying on familiar arguments and clever phrasing. They skimmed through their materials, trusting in their reputation and wit to carry them through. They assumed the Filipino team would be emotional, easy to outmaneuver, and perhaps lacking the intellectual rigor they prided themselves on. Their strategy meetings were brief, filled with jokes and lighthearted banter, as if the outcome was a foregone conclusion. They underestimated their opponents, equating accent with intellect, and mistook cultural differences for weakness. Meanwhile, the Filipino team prepared relentlessly, driven by a sense of purpose that went far beyond the competition itself. For them, the debate was personal, a matter of history and justice, a chance to challenge old narratives and prove themselves on a global stage. They dug deep into archives, economic data, and legal precedents, determined to build arguments rooted in evidence and lived experience. Their sessions were intense, anticipating every possible counter, rehearsing responses to even the most unlikely challenges. Isabel, Marco, and Lena role-played pressure-testing arguments, pushing each other to think deeper and speak with conviction. They built an airtight case, brick by brick, refusing to leave any gap for doubt or dismissal. They prepared to educate, not just argue, determined to make their voices heard and their message resonate. Oxford polished their style. The Filipinos sharpened their substance, knowing that true power lies in preparation and depth. The stage was set for a lesson in preparation, a confrontation where confidence alone would not be enough. Oxford was about to face a team ready for war, armed not just with words, but with purpose, passion, and unbreakable resolve. The motion: should former colonial powers pay reparations? For Oxford, it was an academic exercise. For the Filipino team, it was lived reality. Oxford planned to argue reparations were impractical and backward-looking. The Filipinos saw it as a demand for justice, not charity. They prepared to present economic data, legal precedents, and a case for restorative justice. The debate would be more than a contest. It would be a reckoning. James from Oxford opened with charm and confidence, dismissing reparations as impractical. He expected emotion, not evidence, from his opponents. Isabel took the podium, calm and resolute. Her accent was clear, her words precise. We are not here to discuss grievances. We are here to discuss debt, quantifiable economic debt. The room fell silent. Isabel reframed the debate, focusing on facts, not feelings. Her accent faded into irrelevance. Her argument took center stage. She prosecuted, not pleaded. Reparations became a matter of justice, not charity. Oxford exchanged uneasy glances. Their expectations were upended. The Filipino team's evidence was overwhelming. The easy victory Oxford anticipated was slipping away. The debate had shifted. Substance was winning over style. Marco followed, armed with data and history. He exposed how colonial infrastructure served only resource extraction. He detailed the economic drain, profits flowing out, neglect left behind. Oxford was stunned, unprepared for such depth. Lena, the legal expert, dismantled claims of impracticality. She cited international precedents for reparations. Complexity is not a moral defense. It's an excuse for inaction. She reframed reparations as restorative justice, not revenge. True reconciliation, she argued, begins with acknowledgement and repair. The Filipino team's arguments were rigorous and moving. Oxford's witty remarks sounded hollow. The debate had become a lesson in depth and rigor. The audience recognized the shift. The Filipino team elevated the conversation. Oxford had no answer. Oxford's rebuttal leaned on charm and abstraction. Chloe dismissed the evidence as a blizzard of numbers. She tried to steer the debate back to grand principles. The audience wasn't convinced. Oxford's arguments now seemed empty, lacking substance. James's final rebuttal was defensive, attacking without evidence. His statement sounded profound, but meant little. The contrast was stark. Oxford's style versus the Filipinos' fortress of facts. The British team's eloquence couldn't mask their lack of depth. Style alone was no match for substance. The debate ended in silence, the outcome clear. The judges praised Oxford's eloquence, but lauded the Filipino team's evidence and reasoning. They did not just argue, they proved their case. The head judge declared. The decision was unanimous. Victory to the University of the Philippines. The room erupted in applause. The Filipino team celebrated, triumphant and proud. They had won by being themselves. The debate proved that ideas matter more than accents. It was a win for intellectual diversity. The world took notice. Oxford's defeat was humbling. Their confidence had blinded them to their opponent's strength. They had judged by accent, not argument, and paid the price. At the reception, James approached Isabel, apologizing sincerely. "We underestimated you. We listened to how you spoke, not what you said." Isabel accepted with grace. The debate became a case study in bias, sparking conversations across academia. Professors used it to challenge ingrained prejudices. The Filipino team's victory showed that excellence is global. Both teams grew from the experience. The Filipinos became ambassadors for intellectual diversity. Oxford changed, focusing on substance over style. They learned to respect diversity as a strength. The debate ended with a winner, but the lesson was for everyone. Never judge an argument or a person by their accent.